Welcome back to the Four Podmen, the wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Joining me tonight as we continue our look back at significant matches in the history of pro wrestling. Of course, the Podfather and the network, Ian the Dynamo Kelly. How we doing, Ian?
Very good, my man. Very good. I'm looking forward to this one.
Good. We said we'd continue on in true Summerslam style because for us, the biggest party of the summer ain't over yet. So we said we continue on. This was a match that was brought up. If you go back and look at our episode that we did on our top 10 SummerSlam matches, this was one that was heavily featured. So we said, why not go back and look at this in our look back series? So where do we begin with this match, Ian? Give the viewers a background to this match. I'm sure they know, but let's refresh their memories.
Well, yeah, let's get a nice little refresher course going on this. Obviously, 1994, this is the year of Owen and Bret. The whole build-up had started back at Survivor Series, obviously, when it was the Hart brothers in there. And you could tell the tensions were rising a little bit, you know what I mean? And that's when Owen kicked Bret out of Bret's leg. That's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. And this had it was kind of like in true babyface fashion. Bret didn't really want to wrestle his younger brother, you know what I mean? Yeah. Didn't kind of want to hurt him, but Owen was like, don't be kind of humoring me here or trying to be, you're a chicken, you know what I mean? He was kind of making a bit of a mockery of him, to be fair. And obviously Bret had to step up finally. And they had that obviously the classic at WrestleMania, in WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden, 1994, the opening match. And obviously the show closes out with Owen just looking absolutely disgusted, as you alluded to on a previous episode. And I think there was only one way that you could, and this is when wrestling was great, where you actually had a build for months and months. You know what I mean? Like, these lads don't meet again from WrestleMania till SummerSlam. And it's like, for the Bret fans out there, they're going, we need him to get vengeance on that little younger brother, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then for, if there was Owen fans at that point, I'm sure like the smarter marks would have been, the older guys back then probably would have been Owen fans as well, just, lapping up everything that he was doing, and rightly so. This is the culmination of this feud, really.
The preview to it really is, you see Jerry the King Lawler and Vince obviously going around interviewing the family who were in the crowd, and you see the Anvil there, who of course is rooting for Owen, of course, at this stage, you know what I mean, which is kind of gas, but then you've got Bruce there and all having a go off the Anvil, saying, you try and make a move tonight and I'll kill you, and all this kind of thing. And it was quite a family divided, really, wasn't it, when you think about it?
They got so much mileage out of this, didn't they, for a couple of years, when you think about it, all the way to 1997 from 1992, really, with the British Bulldog and Bret. It's kind of where it started. It was like, this is great. Like, Vince just knows he can call Stu anytime, because obviously Stu knew that, his number one son, let's be real, was doing the business. Yeah. And, the rest of them are getting taken care of and getting spots here and there. So, it was really an incredible time to go back and look at, isn't it? And I haven't watched this match. Yeah. Good Lord, I'd say in a good 10 years or so. So I'm really looking forward to watching this.
Yeah, I looked today as a prelude to it. I looked at Bret's promo before the match, where he's in that beautiful leather jacket with the tassels and stuff like that and all. And he looks every bit a world champion, doesn't he? Like, just the look of him. He looks the business, like, you know what I mean? It's
someone you can market in every single way, shape, or form, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and everything you think of in a world champion, you know what I mean? Like, he just carries himself and looks the business, and the hair was greased, and it was like nearly, you would nearly think he was nearly stepping over into nearly a heel look, except for the pink, that kind of way.
Would I be out of line if I was to say that it was the first kind of champion that Vince Jr. had that was somebody that would have fitted in with, the old school, like the NWA boys, you know what I mean? I know Hogan did, in the sense that he carried the belt and but he was the cartoon type character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think this was your first champ that you got where he was a wrestler's wrestler, as you always like to call him.
Yeah, you could fit him into any era or any time frame,
Yeah.
and he'd stand out and look $1 million, like, you know. And
Yeah.
that's why I love looking back at some of these matches, because you look back at them, they're actually timeless. You could slice this match out of SummerSlam '94, and you could drop it straight into 2004. You could drop it straight into '84. You know what I mean? And it doesn't seem out of place anywhere. And that's why I love looking back in these matches. You know, they're so cool.
Yeah, I love it.
Right, so I suppose we should begin and get it going.
Yeah.
So whenever you're ready, let's press play and get it going.
So in 3, 2, 1, let's do it.
Let's do this.
Brutal looking steel cage, isn't it?
Yeah, the blue is just outrageous.
Look at that crowd, like right at ringside, just flooded up. You weren't getting that in a lot of the shows at WCW and all back then. They'd be flooded to the front, but you'd see kind of empty crowds at the back. But 1994, they're still, like, I know they're talking about steroid trials and all that stuff, but it doesn't look empty, this arena, to me.
No.
Look at that. I'm a huge fan of this blue steel cage, I gotta say. I mean, this is literally a lion's den. And here he comes, the Rocket, Owen Hart, with that amazing music.
Yeah, absolutely. You
can see the fans. Some of them are actually, a lot of them are just basically in tandem with their thumbs down, going in beat and in sync to the Rocket's music. How great does Owen look here at the time? He was in great shape, wasn't he?
Yeah, unbelievable, yeah.
He was basically just a carbon copy, just a shorter version of his brother, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Do you know, I was looking at the build up to the match earlier, and Bruce, I think it was, they were interviewing, wasn't it, with the blonde hair?
Yeah.
Jesus, they're just like little Russian dolls, aren't they? Like, they just mad, like.
Owen is deciding to go in over. There's Jim Neidhart showing his appreciation. Neidhart is literally shouting his appreciation for Owen Hart. The lights have gone dim. They're not even letting Owen get down into the ring, and they're turning the lights off and ready for their champion.
Jeez, Owen looks $1 million, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. I mean, this was the most brutal structure.
I kind of like that that kind of old school, really in good shape, but kind of softer because of the business that they're in.
Well, yeah.
Kind of way.
Yeah, there might be a couple of love handles there, but they're not bad.
No, and they're there for a reason.
Here we go with an ovation. Like, I mean, people saying Bret wasn't over. Did you hear that crowd?
Yeah, incredible.
That is an ovation. Here he is, Niall, looking the way you want him to look.
But does he ever look any other way?
Look at that gear. Like the effort that went into that gear. Do you know what I mean?
Just the jacket alone.
So Owen was weighing in at 247 on this, and Bret's weighing in at 234. I don't know if I find that believable or not.
Am I right in thinking that Natalya a few years ago wore a jacket to WrestleMania as a tribute to him, the similar jacket with the tassels?
She did.
Didn't she? Yeah.
There was your boy there, Bruce, giving Bret the hug. The divide between the family here is just incredible.
Yeah, it's always, I said it when we were doing the SummerSlam show that time, when you play that family divide card, it's absolutely fantastic.
And the great thing about this was Stu always was on the side of Bret, you noticed that, but the man was like, I don't want my boys fighting. Like, I feel like that if you'd have put a microphone in Stu's mouth, he would have turned around, hey, the little bastard.
Yeah. Well, see, in typical booking fashion, Stu knew where the money was.
There's Dean Hart, or Smith Hart, should I say. Rest in peace. I think that's his son, Matt, there. I'm friends with on Facebook. That's really cool to see.
Yeah.
If it's not, and I'm wrong, correct me. But either way,
they're so alike, aren't they? The whole lot of them, like it's
Oh, Owen is coming in from the get-go here. He's not even allowing Bret to get a Bret, no pun intended. Hammer in the back. Look at the gear that these lads wore. Like there's something to modern wrestlers. Couldn't you change up your gear and your look a little bit? I mean, Owen could have literally wore a pair of those little trunks that people wear now, or Bret, and still would have looked great. But look, they're wearing singlets with a pair of tights over the singlets.
Yeah.
In Bret's case.
Well, you see, this was really a competition in terms of one getting one over the other and stepping up, really, wasn't it? And you know, in traditional style, by the two boys being the legacy of the Hart family and all, it had to really be singlets, didn't it?
Oh, well, 100%. And I think it's great, but it's a great look that you don't see anymore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at
singlets always look cool.
Owen's Dynamite Kid style work. Can you see that?
Yeah.
European uppercuts, headbutts, little chop. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Even those nasty little short kicks to the head, like real Dynamite.
Yeah. But you see how quick the two of them are, especially Bret there, to kind of flick back the head when he's getting those kicks.
They're so snug in their work as well.
Oh, look, standing on the fingers, selling the fingers. Oh, look at that. Now he's trying to choke him with his own singlet. Good Lord, Gorilla.
Do you know something? I'm looking at Owen work here. And, you know, if you want to talk about something a little bit modern, Pete Dunne has been watching this guy, hasn't he?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
You see Pete Dunne off him. You know,
Pete Dunne obviously comes from the UK style. That's Owen having worked with the likes of, you know, pretty much, you know, Rollerball Rocco, Dynamite Kid. Yeah. These are all guys that he worked with. So Al Marty as well.
It's such a variety, hadn't he, to his work?
That's it. And look, he's literally like he's not letting go of that singlet. He's holding on to Bret's singlet and he's just trying for dear life. You know, obviously Bret's gonna overpower him. I love that short leg drop from Bret. I don't know about you.
Yeah. You know what I love? I love as well the way they go into the split screen. I've mentioned it on a couple of these now. That old sort of like feature film double act kind of thing. It's really cool. You see,
and look at Bret trying to get out. Bret's trying to get out, and Jerry Lawler coming in. But look at him; he's trying to run away.
That's actually one thing we mentioned. I think we mentioned this before. Did we mention it on the Owen Hart episode that we did? We mentioned this match, didn't we? And how exciting it was because both guys were actually trying to escape.
Yeah, look at that insecurity to the back of the head, like just, and you can tell that snug right to the back of the neck, so it doesn't.
Yeah,
that's not a Bill Goldberg kick there.
No.
Look at Owen literally getting up as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Like this is two boys. Like this is the survival of the fittest, legit. Like these are two lads in great nick.
Yeah.
Oh, here he goes for a back suplex. Boom. I love Vince on the old Vince on commentary as well. Oh, way upstairs.
I love the way he sells the whole. That's a beautiful off the top rope. I love the way he sells the body shots as well. The way Bret hits them in there, like proper kidney shots, you know.
But that's it, like, you know, because it's something you would do. Do you know what I mean? Like it looks like a legitimate, like I'm going for parts of the body that are going to hurt you. Here we are, Owen. Oh, look at Owen kicking the leg now.
Yeah. It sort of highlighted, didn't it, what it meant about men, the way they were trying to get out constantly. Like,
yeah, definitely. Did you ever see anybody hit the turnbuckle like Bret?
No. And considering we felt that man's back many a time, it probably didn't feel like anything to him either.
No.
His back is like granny.
Yeah, he's a huge man.
Yeah.
Look at this. The two of them trading places trying to get out the front door.
I love the way Owen jumped over him. Then your man goes to shut the door.
Yeah, look, here we go again. And like Owen was literally out, like almost out there. Bret's grabbing. Look at him holding the steps.
Your man on the door, what's he thinking? He just keeps on opening and closing.
Oh, look at Bret going for the hair now. He's fed up.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Right. It's a camel clutch under a rope.
Owen's hair was brilliant as well for wrestling, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
You could tell by his head movements and all. You couldn't really see his face much, but you could see his hair.
Yeah.
Bret pulling his teeth out nearly.
Davey in the front row with that beautiful perm.
Yeah. I thought his interview before the match was quite weird. It was kind of like he was sort of like he's wearing the glasses and all and everything. Like it's
Davey was never really great at the promo.
No, but even the interview we did, like you listen to Anvil kind of got into character a little bit in it. But
Davey just
he looked like a guy juiced up who bought the ticket.
Yeah. I just know him.
He's in the best shape of his life.
The best shape of his life. Yeah. They should have went over to Dynamite as well.
I don't think they might have got the same response.
I'm sure Bret would have got we probably would have got a prop.
Yeah.
Like, little busted.
I suppose given the history as well, Dynamite probably would have had to go with Owen, would he?
You know what? Probably just as Oh, look at this. Owen's nearly out. Has to go for the hair.
Yeah.
They were literally trying to escape here, weren't they?
Oh yeah. I think is that the picture coming up that's behind me, is it? Where he drags him back in by the hair.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. Owen looks like a very, very young Rod Stewart.
Do you know what I noticed as well with the crowd here? If you look at the crowd as well, they went ballistic for the pop, obviously, on the entrance and some of the moves and stuff like that. But they're sitting attentive. Look at the crowd. They're lapping up every minute of it, like, because they know there's two big generals in there. Very like a New Japan crowd, isn't it? Very educated, like, so they're sitting there. They don't want to miss a beat, like.
There's the Dynamite drop kick. And the nip up look.
Yeah.
Whoa. Straight up, he can't even get his legs right. Look.
He's back up on the cage. That spring onto the cage through the ropes is just hilarious.
It's just genius, isn't it?
He's proper out now. Look.
Yeah.
I wonder was Bret scared that he was actually going to go out.
He was going to go into business for himself.
Yeah. Were we seeing a prelude to an early version of the screw job nearly or something? You know what I mean?
But if you look right there, do you see the way the two heads are on top of each other?
Yeah.
There's constant conversation going on. Look.
Yeah.
Constant conversation going on.
Yeah.
Like this is the lost art in a lot of ways in wrestling. Just constant conversation. But like you can't even see it. You know what I mean? Like,
wouldn't you love if Owen was mic'd up? You'd wonder what he was saying. Because he was such a ribber, like, you know what I mean?
He was probably saying, "I've got you, Bret."
Yeah, he's probably saying to Bret there, "I nearly got out there, didn't I?"
You want to watch me tonight, Bret? But look at this, like everything looks legitimately real.
Yeah.
Like it's a struggle. They're literally fighting each other on a cage.
Yeah.
Here we go out to Helen Hart now. She can't bear to look at it. Look. She just cannot bear to look at this. Her two baby boys are hurting each other. And Stu was just like, "Get him, Bret, the little bastard."
Yeah. For Stu, it's just another day at the office.
Stu was just going, "I can't wait for my check." Here we go. Now Owen's going to go for a nice little pile drive. No, Bret flips it in. Oh, I like it. Flips it over. But like everything is slow and methodical when they're, because they're obviously they're gassed out now. Do you know what I mean?
Everything has a purpose and a meaning.
Yeah, that's it. There's a purpose. It's all in the center of the ring when it needs to be. And they're obviously direct from the fact now that they've been, oh, nice double shoulder block now. So they're gone. And there's no count here. Look the way Bret's holding his face and he's kicking his legs there. Like, it's actually hurt him.
Yeah. I actually always loved Bret as well when he got those headlocks and those little short punches. So like, they were just so, like, you know, the way he used to jump with it, like, and he'd sell it as if the impact was huge, like, you know.
Here's the anvil here now in a minute. Do you see the way, like, he holds his face and sells it like it's really hurt him though?
Yeah.
Anvil just looking.
It's brilliant when he knows he's on, doesn't he? Because he looks anxious for his boy.
Yeah. Owen trying to go out again, and Bret just literally ripping that blonde mane up and saying, "Not today, son."
I had a look for images today on Google from the match, and that image of Owen nearly escaping the cage there with Bret dragging him back in comes up so many times.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Bret was looking for a door there, but there was no door, so he's going up top of the turnbuckle, and you know Bret ain't going to the top of the turnbuckle to hit a diving headbutt. Now it's Owen's taste. Now it's Owen's taste to fucking try and pull him down.
Do you know what I'm thinking there, looking at it now as well? If Owen had dyed his hair black, they'd be a hell of a tag team, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. They would have looked the exact same. Well, you know, Owen had different features, but they would have.
They could just switch up the colors like they did there in the singlets and stuff like that. No, you know what I mean?
Oh, straight down into a region that you don't want, and it went onto the knee. So Bret's going to sell now for a while. Great heel work from Owen. Great move from Owen. Look at Anvil. Anvil is up and he's loving this.
Yeah, Anvil would have a huge appreciation for a move like that.
Anvil is loving this.
He's giving the rest of the family socks.
Shouting at the rest of the family saying, yeah, fuck you.
Jesus, you can never take the promo out of the man. Sure you can't.
Oh, man. Well, look at this. Owen pulling himself. He's literally trying. Bret's trying to muster up the strength here just to get him back.
He's trying to get out over the rope now instead of under it. Yeah, to slow it down to give Bret the chance.
But that shows the fight within these two, doesn't it? The fight to actually win this.
Yeah.
I used to love the way Bret used to sell that potential sharpshooter and then he just drop a head into your bollocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You think there's a sharpshooter come, but you're getting a head right into the fucking abdomen or the nutsack.
I wonder how many times he got that wrong and really got you going now.
I'd say if you fucked him up earlier in the match, he'd probably...
Yeah. He'd drop a headbutt right into your nutsack, I'd say.
It's 237 pounds of the best part of it coming down onto your French tip.
I just saying Davey boy there, he looks like he belongs on stage with Europe singing the final countdown or something.
Be honest with you, it's either that or he looks like Kiss Unmasked.
Yeah.
He looks like Paul Stanley from Kiss Unmasked that just went on the juice.
Yeah. Just on stage swinging that guitar around.
Yeah.
Pumped to the gills.
I really love you, baby. I love what you got. Singing Crazy Nights now any minute. Oh, that was a big game changer in the match there now. Big game changer. Yeah, Bret's going to sell that now for a bit.
God, he was clinical in his work, wasn't he?
Oh.
Like you look at that one there, the elbow barely even hit the mat. It was just snug and perfect, like, you know what I mean?
Oh. Here we are. Owen's up now. Owen's up. He's nearly there. No, Bret's cut him again. Pulling the knee pads down. Pulling the knee. Anything like this. This is literally one of the best cage matches just in terms of fight for survival. Oh, he's lost the grip. It's the hair again. Bret's going back to that hair. Owen's swinging. Owen's literally swinging his legs out, hoping to drop. He doesn't care if his scalp gets ripped off here, just as long as he gets that belt.
That's brilliant the way he's holding himself up by the elbows, but it looks like
just genius, yeah. Brett's just fed up now. He's going for the old Flair bump there. Just get off. Oh my God. Owen is back. He's literally holding onto an ankle. This is just back and forth trying to get over that top rope.
Look at the crowd now. Look at the crowd for Bret on top of the cage. Good Lord.
Oh, Bret's literally swinging like fucking something from, he's going in for now Samoan drop there. This is like something from Planet of the Apes where like they're about to fall down and the boys are just ready to take them out.
Owen's adjustment there was brilliant, wasn't it?
Perfect. Got him into a Samoan drop. Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Two absolute masters of their craft. Owen's gear is beautiful as well, isn't it? The difference, even the little small differences of like the white around the singlet on Owens and then the pink around Bret's. Davey there giving it socks in his little waistcoat. Davey was definitely sitting in that front row with the fanny pack as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And Bruce Pritchard here with Anvil behind him and putting Anvil in his place. Look at Anvil. Anvil saying, well, if you want some.
Anvil, shut your mouth.
Anvil basically saying, well, if you want some of this.
What you reckon in a matchup there? Anvil would mess him up, wouldn't he?
Of course.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And I think Bruce knows it too.
Yeah.
Imagine Anvil said, just whispering in the ear, I'm not kayfabing tonight.
Yeah. I just forearmed him in the back or something.
Yeah. I'm going dynamite on you tonight. Fuck it.
It's mad the way you highlighted that in the match, actually. I don't think there's been a piece at the top of that cage that they haven't actually been on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's
right around it, like.
But do you notice how safe it is? Do you see the way Bret's hooking his foot just over the top as well, just for balance? And then they're getting all of the actual wrestling moves. Like the big impact moves are coming off the rope, not even the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. How great was Bret at that? Do you see the way he used to cover his mouth and his face with his elbows like that? He wouldn't even know when he was talking to someone. And you know they're talking there.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But you wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah.
Owen going for the old ball driver.
Anvil like he's in the match.
Well, I would say Anvil would love to be in there. Yeah, you got a big old rhino there, Vince. Beautiful.
I still don't like that pile driver though, do you?
When it's done well, it's done well. I think Jerry used to do it great. I think Bret used to do it great. Owen, like, he done it right there. But it's, you know, there's only certain few people that can do it like proper safe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if Owen had done that pile driver to Austin, it would have been a different story, you know?
No issue.
Yeah.
Crowd giving Owen socks.
Like Owen's going into business for himself. He's not even giving time for Bret to sell the you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But like their work, it's mad. Like, oh, Owen straight down. Good Lord. Holy shit.
Oh.
Nasty.
Yeah. That'll leave a mark.
But even when they're standing on the ropes. Some lads can't even put a match together in the center of the ring. These lads are doing it on the ropes.
Yeah, they literally haven't occupied the center of the ring at all nearly in the match.
No. Struggling to get out, kicking the brother in the fucking head. They are proper. That is a fight. Like, this is a fight. Now, here's your favorite stuff now. Now, Bret on top of him, just punching him in the head. This is like a proper scramble. That's like amateur wrestling with punching.
Yeah.
It's almost like a great look at MMA fighting, isn't it? The way they were kicking each other.
Yeah. It was kind of like, you've pissed me off enough tonight now.
I'm seeing you try to do me.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Davey looking through the center, shouting on Bret. Come on, Bret. Come on, Bret. Here we go. The old slingshot. A move you don't see enough of anymore.
It's a great move.
Great move.
Especially in a cage match.
Oh, good. That's exactly where you want it. Look at Anvil just looking gnarly, standing over Davy's shoulder, ready to fucking bounce.
Anvil's ready.
He's the epitome of the road dog, isn't he?
He's ready to take the rest of the family out, isn't he?
Literally, he's willing to take every one of them out. He's probably got a gun cocked and loaded.
I'd say he could flip that barrier and take Davey and Bruce out with a shoulder block all at once.
Oh, this is the best one. The old Owen dive. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. The timing of that was just absolutely beautiful. The two boys are lying on the ground, bollocks, kicking each other in the face. Brilliant.
I love the way Bret's psychology as well. It's kind of like when he's dragging them back in there, it's kind of like, what have I got to do? You know what I mean? It's really cool. Like,
yeah. Look at that turnbuckle bump. Oh my God.
I don't think there was ever a better one, was there?
No. Well, you're right there. The psychology is like Bret, like you could sense him, like what, and that's what you're doing with putting your opponent over. You know what I mean?
I've thrown everything at him.
Owen's being made here, like.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Owen's being made here. Oh, and then Owen just, beautiful. The timing of that was perfect. Oh, good Lord. The sound effect of the smack off that cage as well.
Yeah, Bret was always brilliant at that, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's just timing.
Is that a natural thing, Ian, or is that something that you would practice?
Timing?
Yeah.
In the ring?
Yeah, is it kind of, do you either have it or you don't have it, or is it?
I think you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, because I can't imagine these two boys practicing that at all, you know what I mean?
Timing, like you can practice everything in a match and you can do everything you want, but timing is something that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think you can get it, but I think you can be born with timing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just knowing exactly when to turn around at the right time is something that you can't really teach.
Well, I suppose these two boys were probably beating each other from an early age anyway, so they probably know each other inside out anyway.
But you know what, though, Niall? I think it comes to you naturally. I'm not just saying that you're born with it, fair enough, but I think it comes to you naturally, is what I'm saying. If you're willing to kind of, you're talking about two lads that work on the fly as well, that can work on the fly, and working on the fly a lot, timing just comes absolutely naturally.
Yeah, because I suppose with that stuff, like if it's slightly off at all, it just looks terrible, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, if you have somebody say that's on the top rope that's waiting to give you a crossbody, and you're spending too long and turning around, you know, it's going to just look, you know, stupid. Whereas if you do it in a sense where it's just timed right within a couple of seconds, and the guy is already in midair, and you turn around and jump into it, it looks great. You know what I mean? That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But These two guys' timing is just second to none, especially Bret. I think that's what separated Bret from most people. His timing is just same with Shawn Michaels and same with Owen Hart here in this case.
Absolutely. Up the cage again. I wonder if you look back on the match, how many attempted escapes was there in the match?
Would you say it's the most in history?
Has to be.
Has to be. I'd like someone in the comment section, if they know a cage match that has more attempted escapes, to please let us know. But the funny thing about it isn't that what it's meant to be about? Wrestling is meant to be prize fighting. You're winning to get the money, to get the most money and get on to the next match. You're not supposed to be wrestling to give Dave Meltzer a hard on. You're meant to be.
I suppose when you're looking at it, you've got two real good technical wrestlers there. And the thing about it is, to be able to do that work up there on the cage and stuff like that and pull it off and make it look really well, it takes that kind of level of talent.
Yeah.
Whereas if you look at cage matches these days, most guys don't necessarily want to go up around there too much. They want that to be the big spots in the match, as opposed to the norm of trying to actually escape the cage.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm making. I'm not saying that wrestler, of course you are meant to have the best match possible. I'm saying, but the premise of wrestling with kayfabe, is that it's meant to be a prize fight, and you're meant to want to win the money and basically beat your opponent as quick as you can possibly beat him. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the whole premise of this match is to escape the cage as quickly as possible, so you
exactly
get more damage and everything. So,
but what they're doing is they know they've got a 40-minute or whatever time limit, and they're going, right, we're going to pretend that we want to escape as quickly as possible. We're going to give these people the best match they've ever seen with inside the blue cage. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I suppose the excitement within the match, even we're purist wrestling fans as well, so we can appreciate the wrestling. But for the fans there, the real premise of the match is the attempted escapes.
Well, of course it is. And that's what I'm saying. So for the kayfabe of it is to try and let fans think that they want to win the match now and that they want to be anywhere but inside that ring, And that's basically pro wrestling 101. You know what I mean? The whole idea is that Flair wants to cheat to win, to get out of there as quickly as possible and go and party with all the girls. But realistically, what he wants to do is have an hour Donnybrook, and actually give Dave Meltzer that hard on, So that's the thing. I think a lot of guys nowadays don't fight and claw and scratch enough to kind of make it look like that they want to win. The purse. Yeah. Here we go. This is the bit. This is the one where Bret said about looking after the brother. Here we go.
Davey Boy looks like an extra of a Flintstones movie or something.
Oh, stop. As I said, he looks like Kiss Unmasked. Yeah. There's that suplex there. It's how safe was that? Do you know what I mean?
Look, they've both landed and they're still nearly linked up in the move.
And this is the old ring as well. This is the one that Vince didn't change until he had to experience it himself. And went, I think we should change the ring. Look at that, Bret trying to get up and he has to keep leaning on the shoulder. Look at that. Yeah. He's trying to get up. Look, that's selling. You don't see it. That's realistic selling. That's as real as it gets. Don't give me your Shawn Michael bollocks selling because he hops around like Mr. Perfect and bounces himself over the bleeding into the river Liffey every other day on Sunday. You know what I mean? or Ric Flair's into the turnbuckle and the swoop around to the outside. That's real selling there.
It was nearly like, right, this is what we're going to do. And as he went to get up, Owen was going, what are we going to do? And he was going back down to tell him again, this is what we're going to do. What are we going to do? And it was like Owen was ribbing him or something.
Yeah. But that's how you would be, wouldn't you be? You're trying to get up and you can't. Your legs just won't work. Your back's giving out.
It'd be kind of weird if you pulled off a suplex like that and you just got up though, wouldn't it? That's what happens today.
Oh, yeah. And then you have 20 more false finishes after.
Yeah. And another five
In
of
the
those.
case of the Young Bucks,
Another
anyway.
5 of those suplexes.
In the case of the Young Bucks, yeah, jump off the. Let's go up to the rafters with Sting and let's call Sting and Darby Allin, see what they're doing.
Home with the sharpshooter.
I love the way he used to put the hand up in the air as well when he was doing it.
Yeah, and he's such a wide stance on it, didn't he? He was like he was squatting.
Yeah. That was one of the first times we've seen that reversal that Bret done, which was just so beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that. Nobody put that sharpshooter in the way he did he?
No.
Like Scorpion Deathlock me bollocks. Like that's how the whole should look.
Davy's veins and all are nearly out at this stage.
Davey was a fucking monster, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Very sad what happened.
So sad, like looking at it though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only thing when I look back at these matches. And the problem is when you do look back at, you pick a lot of these matches and stuff like that, that there's so much tragedy at times encapsulated in some of the ones that we revere and love, you know. That's the shame about it, you know what I mean? Like it's you look at this match and you know, you enjoy the match for what it is and you go through it, but you forget that like the 2 boys aren't here anymore. 3 boys aren't here anymore.
We don't have lots of them,
Yeah.
No, we don't have, you know, Helen and Stu anymore. Obviously, that was old age, but you know, it's just like the staple of our kind of upbringing and stuff that, like, that's
But the great thing because the matches are so good and such high quality, you're going to lose yourself in the match, and it's only when the match is over you realize, you know, they're not here anymore.
Like those Dave
the match,
Meltzer,
it's like they're still here.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And I was going to say to you, like, for someone like Dave Meltzer, right? I don't mean to rip on him all the time. Like, you know, Dave, I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever. But does he not realize the absolute tripe that comes out of his mouth, or ever go back and look at some of these matches and go, how could I possibly be given a grade 6 or whatever, fucking 5-star match, 6-star match, 7-star match, in this case, the way he keeps going, and then look at this and go, this is anything but, you know, a 5-star match. There you go. Look at the finish of that. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely genius. Absolutely genius.
and it's amazing with the finish. Davey boy, look, here's the
wait, do you see
the
the misses over the fucking top.
I knew Amble's just a monster, isn't he?
Look at this.
He's an absolute monster.
Look at this. It's a beatdown for Bret now.
What the hell is Amble even wearing?
I don't know. I think he's wearing those old bodybuilding.
It's like he just came out of a CrossFit gym or something.
It's those old bodybuilding pants that were big in the 90s. You remember them?
Yeah, but they were sort of baggier. They were like the stuff he wore when he was tagging it on. These are skin tight. It's like he has a set of cycling shorts on with a set of tights on.
I'd say this is just part of what Jim likes, you know. Yes, sir.
Down into the tights. Look at Look at him laughing down it, for God's sake. We're going to have a beat down tonight. Davy's missus going over the barrier and everything. That was classic.
Davy's missus getting hockeyed over the barrier as well.
I hope she got as good a payday as Davy did for.
I'm telling you, Diana Smith taking it like a champ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at all the brothers.
Owen after punching Davy off the cage, through the cage.
All the brothers are coming up here now. It's like something out of fucking. Bruce is on the way. Bruce is on the way.
This sold the whole. This was the real making of the family feud, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, kicking lumps out of Davy.
They're all getting smacked. Wayne is getting smacked. They're all getting smacked. Owen with the one sock.
It's mad when you think about how big these boys were as actual men. You look at Davy Boy there. He's in a baggy pair of jeans, but they're skin tight on him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Davy's coming up now though with absolute venom, and the waistcoat is off this time.
Tell you one thing, the family is selling the cage as good as the boys did in the match, aren't they? Oh, yes,
it's in the blood. Oh, Davy's he's up now. He's ready. Davy's in.
Davy did the tan and all for the night.
Oh, Davy is in. Now Owen and Anvil are out. The Anvil, Davy's got Anvil's leg.
how quick did Owen scale the cage? He was gone.
Look at Bruce is in as well. Bruce is at the throwing the shoe at Anvil.
They nearly sold it like a proper shoot, didn't they?
Listen, this is old school wrestling. This was brilliant stuff. Look at that lovely belly on Anvil. Doesn't give a fuck.
You kind of look at it and you think this is what we probably wanted in Montreal, wasn't it? We wanted the whole family to come in and absolutely kill Michaels.
Well, I think that's why there was probably separation there, because I'd say like lads might have been killed that night.
Anvil's a monster of a man, isn't he?
Look at that lovely gut.
That's that real couldn't give a fuck look.
Yeah. That fucking Whoopi Goldberg hair on Davey though was just beautiful.
Jeez, he's in some nick, isn't he?
Davey?
Yeah, good lord.
Yeah, he's
tan to the gazelles and everything.
Absolute monster. The fucking shoulders and traps on the Bulldogs were literally just Bulldogs, weren't they?
Absolutely, 100%.
And here you go. You've got a promo coming up with Todd Pettengill. It'd only be apropos for us to actually keep this going until this is over.
Yeah. No. I always love that backstage stuff where they're running to get the guys now.
Me too.
Owen selling like he won.
Jim is just making no sense whatsoever. You get him my way, wasted.
Davy Boy is absolutely monstrous. You could listen to Anvil doing a promo on mute, and you still get the picture. He's so animated, like
he's just. That's it. All you need to do is just look at his head.
Yeah, and arms. What a brilliant match!
Oh,
absolutely brilliant.
Now, in looking at a match like that, and you talk about today's wrestling, and you look at it like I don't think I've seen something like that in the last 20 or 30 years of, say 20 years of wrestling.
I think we kind of come to an acceptance that it's a different sport, isn't it, really?
But you could still do a match like that, couldn't you? And actually make people just pause for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I could see easily a rerun of a match like that with, say, a Balor and a Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
And they could pull it off. But there's not a lot of pairings you could put together today that would pull off a match like that.
What about Cody and Dustin, which they did do it?
Yeah, absolutely. But then you're still talking about sort of legacy there. You're talking about DNA, and you're talking about lads who grew up in an old school environment, aren't you? So they understand it and they get it.
Of course, yeah.
But I mean, I think it'd be very hard if you took sort of more of the new era and stuff like that, you know. I mean, I suppose the likes of an Adam Cole or that would have the dynamic, I'd say, to do it as well. You know what I mean? He's put on stellar matches in NXT and stuff like
Well, I
that.
suppose now that you've got CM Punk back, that's what you're going to be getting. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, very much so. And with CM Punk as well, you will get that kind of you get that kind of grittiness out of him as well. You know, I often find when you talk about Punk as a heel, he's very good at doing that heelish type stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, I would say like it'd be a fairly it'd be a short list, really. I mean, we should listen to maybe people who view the video could maybe come up with some pairings of current sort of stars that they will put together and book to pull off a match of this quality. That'd be an interesting.
That would be
dynamic.
Cool. That would be cool.
Because I'm thinking, God, it might be a struggle to come up with 10 even, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah, be a struggle to come up with 10 matchups.
And then you're thinking, if Adam Cole is set free to kind of hang around with the elite, is he gonna start messing around again? You know what I mean?
That's the risk, isn't it? But I mean,
that's the scary thing. Like, you know, the thing about a lot of these wrestlers is that they especially in the modern era, they're followers. You know what I mean? Like, they don't stick by the craft. That's why I think CM Punk signing is so monumental for AEW, is that he won't just pussyfoot into that elite thing and go, yeah, let's just do stupid comedy matches all the time.
Yeah.
You know, he will say, no, that's bollocks. I'm not doing.
No, you're not going to find him in a sharpshooter being signed Christmas carols. That ain't going to happen.
No, exactly.
Without a shadow of a doubt, you know. I suppose in looking at the match, I mean, as you said, I mean, it was just, I mean, from start to finish, I had you gripped in it in terms of, you know, who was going to make that escape. And as you said, the finish was absolutely perfect in terms of him hung up on the cage. So Owen was so close to getting there, and Bret jumps down and gets there, you know, but then they bum rush the cage and the whole family's just going ballistic. And, you know, Anvil gets his little bit in. You could see with Anvil, he was hyped up to kill someone, you know, because here he is and he's doing the chain on the door and he's laughing to himself saying, I'm going to mill a load of lads now. He's probably delighted, like, you know what I mean?
Just going for it now.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
What about? Do you think you think you'd put that into your top 10 now? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, it's just, you know, one of the reasons I didn't put it into the top 10 is I knew it was going to be in there anyway. So I was trying to create more of a dynamic.
It's the yours truly
between the three of us, you know, because I knew it was going to be in yours and I knew it was definitely going to be in Darren's anyway. So there was no point in the three of us having the same top 10s, if you like, you know what I mean? But
of course.
It's not like it was out of my top 10. It's, you know, sometimes when you do those lists, it's really 10 ones, isn't it? More so than your top 10, you know.
It's hard when you look at these guys, though, isn't it? And, you know I get ribbed a lot for, you know, being such a big Bret Hart fan or whatever, but like, when it all boils down to it, like, I mean, if you're a fan of pro wrestling and you like the idea of actual pro wrestling, it's hard not to put Bret in a lot of these matches.
His body of work speaks for itself, doesn't it, really? You know,
yeah.
And how do you exclude it? I mean, if you come up with any kind of, I mean, we often try and get inventive and creative in terms of the podcast and we do and stuff like that. But even when we come up with topics, most roads lead to Bret Hart in some stage in the conversation in the episode, you know. And it's not because we're both Bret Hart fans or anything like that. I think most wrestling fans, if you're not a Bret Hart fan, how are you a pro wrestling fan? But I just think most roads lead to Bret. Like, even when you talk about Shawn leads to Bret, you know, everything kind of leads to Bret. The Bulldogs lead to Bret. Everything leads to Bret. You know what I mean? So it's impossible to avoid it. You know, it's unfortunate the career was cut so short at that time, you know. So that's the only sad thing, really, you know. I mean, that's the only thing, as you said, looking back on it, the boys have passed away, and then you look at Bret as well. His career was cut short as well, you know what I mean. So it's sad, really. It's, as I said, it's when the match ends that you go, yeah, that's when you get nostalgia and you go, gotta really miss that. You know what I mean? When you're in the match, we're sitting here, we're engrossed in this match, like, you know, we're taken away from where we are back to a place that we loved so much. And then it's when the match ends. It's like when you've had a great weekend and then you realize Monday you have to go back to work.
It's over.
You know what I mean? You've had a brilliant weekend. You've partied. You've done your thing. Your football team won, all this kind of thing. And then you're sitting there. And I always remember, even when you were going to school, Sunday night was always a killer. Back to school 5 more days before you were off again, type of thing. You know, this kind of reminds me like that in terms of those memories. You know.
Yeah, for me, it's like Sunday was always the worst day. Monday wasn't for me because once you're out of bed on Monday and then you're in whatever you need to be in, you're in it. So it's grand.
Yeah.
But it's the Sunday. It's the build up of like, oh shit.
Yeah. The other thing I love about these matches as well, when we go back and look at them, is the fact that it creates an appetite in you. Whereas tomorrow now, I'll probably watch a load of Owen Hart matches in the shop. Because it's like a bug that bites you, really, you know what I mean, in terms of it refreshes you again and you go, yeah, I'll look at that. You know, when we did the look back at Sean and the look back at Hogan and stuff like that, no, I went back and I looked at more matches as well, you know, because that one, although it wasn't a huge match in terms of the history of the business, like compared to this and stuff like that, it was certainly nostalgia and iconic in a certain way. You know, it was like Hogan versus Sean, even though it became just a big comedy ritual, really, but it was just a fun match to have, to watch.
And isn't it funny that Hogan was never willing to work with Bret, like, you know, at a time where Bret was like twice the size of Sean anyway. It's certainly, you know, as over and just wasn't willing to do business. So it was like Hogan came back and was like, right, well, if I want to stay relevant, I got to just work with these people and keep them out.
I wonder, would have been a case, I mean, you know, I mean, we know the history there with Bret and Hogan. I presume, like, Hogan will obviously look back on his career and say, there's guys I should have worked with and there's times I should have done things differently, and he regrets them. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure he has nights at home at times when he's thinking, you know, if I only had made that decision or this decision, stuff like that. But I wonder with Bret, with Sean, he probably knew with Sean that, yeah, Sean was going to probably rip the piss out of him a little bit, but still make him look decent. I think with Bret being so good and at that level, I wonder what Bret, even though he was so good in terms of chemistry with everyone he worked with, I wonder with Hogan, would he have exposed Hogan a little bit? That's the only thing. And I wonder would that have been the fear, you know, whereas... I
don't think so. And I'll tell you why. One reason only. I mean, you look at who Bret worked with, as you mentioned earlier, his body of work. Like...
Yeah, but if you look at most of his body of work, which is really, really good, was with
big men.
Yeah, but was also with guys that he had a certain level of respect for. He had very little respect for Hogan.
Well, I think I did. No, but I think that this is what I'm saying. In 1992, 1993, that disrespect wasn't there.
Yeah,
the disrespect only came after he was disrespected. You know what I mean? So when you think about it, if you had Hogan that time when he came down with, you know, in 93 at WrestleMania 9 with the Yokozuna, and you were going into SummerSlam 93 with Bret and Hogan, they were okay. They were all good with each other at that point. I think it would have been absolutely amazing. I think the real problem was that Hogan knew he had to put Bret over, and he didn't want to put small men over at that time, and that's it. That's very, very simply what it boils down to. You know, the posters were made. They're online. The poster was made. And of course we got that famous, that's not going to work for me, brother. You know, so it was just another case of the Iron Sheik kind of situation. I owe you one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, true.
You never got the favor. And I think that's where the real heat came from. Unfortunately, Hogan was just such a, I suppose, dastardly politician at that point. And I hope there is regret on Hogan's part, because I mean, he could have really done himself a lot of favors there. I mean, I know he did later years, you know, being the heel in the NWO, and he was willing to make himself look bad. But I mean, there was always still the return favor kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was always a check to be cashed.
Yeah. So it's sad when you think about it, because there could have been, Jesus Christ, there could have been some great stuff there. But it is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah, there's definitely times in the business when you look at it where they stepped over dollars to pick up cents, didn't they?
Absolutely. Look, I've got people like that I respected, like even in the last few days, you know, people that I grew up with and started out with, you know, and you reach out to them and you hear nothing back, and you're kind of just like, you know what am I even bothering with you anymore for? You know what I mean? It's just, and yet, like, to someone else that might go, oh, that breaks my heart that person and you aren't like on great terms anymore. But you know, you do get to a stage in life, like myself, and I'm sure like all of our listeners here, that you can't keep reaching out to people. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So
Yeah. Well, you know yourself, when you extend your arm out that far, you can only hold it out there for so long.
Absolutely.
Eventually it gets tired.
Yeah, because eventually you're going to be ended up, instead of putting your hand out to be slapped by other people, you're going to be slapping your own self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It is what it is. But I had
Listen,
great fun.
yeah, this has been a pleasure. I knew I had to get you on because I knew you'd enjoy these because they really set you up well. Like they're real a lot of fun, and I hope our viewers are enjoying them and they're watching the matches along and listen to us what we're saying and stuff like that, because it teleports me back to a time where I was absolutely engrossed in wrestling and loved it. You know what I mean? And I
Me
still do
too.
to this day, but just it's a different level.
I was 10 years old watching that match. Think about that.
94, mate. I was 22.
Yeah, I was 10.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old watching that.
Yeah. Well, I felt like a 10-year-old because I'm one of these guys who I believe never grew up, so it doesn't bother me at all.
And I was having palpitations before it. Yeah, I wouldn't have known what palpitations were when I was 10. Yeah. But now I know what they are. And at that point, I was literally going, oh my God, Bret has to win this one. Like, he can't lose twice to Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So when I look back at it now and I see how Bret was willing to kind of make it look like this could be anybody's game, it wasn't a clear-cut win. It was just that Owen got his foot caught in the, in the cage. Yeah. It shows you how much respect that Bret had for the brother, that it wasn't like it has to be a clean win just so I get me, I get my W back.
But the bro still needs to look strong.
Exactly. And and look, even if it's like we talk about bros in wrestling, it should be brothers in wrestling regardless, because we're all in the same fucking family. Yeah. And it should be that way anyway.
Well, you see the way when they do things like that, as you said, they didn't meet from WrestleMania all the way to SummerSlam. But what it does is it leaves the door open for the continuation. So that's the way, there's you could have booked Bret and Owen for 2 years if you wanted. And it never gets stale, you know what I mean? So that's the brilliant way they did it,
And then the great part about it was the great part about it was when they did finally make up in that infamous, DX versus Hart Foundation type thing. It was just genius, wasn't it? Bret came to the dark side. It was like, you know what, Owen, you're right. They're fucking assholes.
No, it was brilliant. Well, anyway, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm delighted. I knew I had to suggest this match when you got on to me today. Anyway, like I knew this would be a belter to continue our SummerSlam series.
We're gonna have to do this again with something different.
Yeah, absolutely. We just look. There's hundreds of matches there we can cover. This will always be a weekly thing now at this stage. But as always, Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube for all the video versions of the show. Get over there onto the network. Some great shows over there on the slab covering the horror stuff. Retrotainment for all your classic movies. Retrotainment recast for recasting the movies with the latest actors. Of course, the upper tier for your transfer shows, Shankly Session. We got the Chelsea Roar over there. All those shows. Dynamo's dozen, as always, stalwart on the network. And we always have the 4 Podmen for our wrestling. Obviously, as well, we're missing it out. We're missing out on a couple of shows. The network's expanding so big. King Woe's Court, of course, with Carl, delivering all the latest metal stuff over there every week as well. So absolutely.
The Flaming Puck.
Flaming Puck, of course, for your Calgary Flames, your ice hockey. Can't beat that either.
There's going to be lots of my Calgary friends watching this particular show tonight. Yeah, so shout out to all you guys and girls.
Brilliant. Great to have them on board. And of course, your weekly show now with all the wrestling news, Hitman Headlines. Good time to drop that in there after watching such a great match. So absolutely brilliant. So as always,
There we go.
Yeah. And on the if you want to hit us up on Twitter at @TPodmen, if you want to hit us up on Facebook, the 4 Podmen, or Instagram, hit us up there. Let us know your thoughts in the video, and we will be back with you again next week. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, bro.